Welcome, fellow Dadpreneurs, to yet another live interview show with Become a Fearless Father and Liam Sorrell of the Australian Dad Network. Liam, thank you so much for taking the time for being on. For all you people that are listening to this now, and I'm like, but dude, you said you were only going to go live every Thursday, 9 p.m. I know, but 9 p.m. for Liam is like, if I calculated correctly, 4 o'clock in the morning. He said, yeah, I'll do a lot, but yeah. So look at that. What's going on, Thomas? Sweden is joining us as well. That's nice. Look at that. Christopher's joining us right away. What's going on, Christopher? Appreciate you, brother. Let's start off right away with that, man. What does it mean for you to be a dad?
Oh, where do you start? When there's so many different areas that I could touch on there, I suppose. But for one thing, I mean, I suppose to pick out one thing that for me that makes me want to feel like a dad is just being able to watch my kids grow. It's every day is changing. Every day is something new, and it's really it really puts me into perspective and my life into perspective, and makes me think how curious I used to be and how curious I should still be today. Just little things, like we just opened up a pack of pens this morning, marker pens that have different smells to them. I forgot those things even existed, and my kids I've got two boys. They're 3 and 4-year-old. They're 15 months apart, and just the excitement that comes from that, and trying to teach them. We don't call cotton candy here. We call it fairy floss, but it was cotton candy on the thing. So trying to just explain that kind of stuff, and just to watch how their minds are evolving and how excited they get about learning. It really brings it back to me that I can do that too. I can continue to really be curious and really love living life in that space and learning every day. It's good fun.
Exactly. Yeah, you said it. The end was absolutely perfect. It's good fun, right? Because that's what in the end what it's all about. That's what your kids keep getting them excited, and what is driving them to continue to grow, right? Because you've noticed, I'm reading a couple of books, and in that book it was saying like a 5-year-old will tell you like, oh, I'm this much excited, but then us who will say like, yeah, it's okay, right? So it's that excitement, that learning drive that as a dad we learn again from our kids. So like, oh, that's actually, man, why did I stop doing that? Right? So that's really good, man. And see, I like this thing. The small things is what life is made up of. Absolutely, Thomas. Yeah. That is so true, my friend. So let's dive into a little bit, Liam, into your background story, who you are. You already mentioned you got 2 boys, 3 and 4 years old. And for the people, if you want to check out what Liam is doing, here is the Australian Dads Network website. So make sure to check that out. And I'll leave that on while you talk about you, Liam.
All right, cool. So I grew up in the western suburbs of Melbourne in the southeast of Australia, and basically, I mean, pretty sort of standard middle class upbringing. Nothing too extremely exciting to talk about there. I suppose where I start to deviate from the path that was potentially chosen for me was when I got my driver's license, and I jumped in the car and I left, and I just said, this is the thing for me. I need to get on the road. There was something that was calling me for a long time to just be a vagabond for a little while. That little while turned into about 10 years, and I traveled around for quite some time across Europe, a few laps and crosses of Australia, and in that travel as well, I met some people which would eventually, parts of their life would be really cemented into my life. Different circumstances, especially when it comes to alcohol and drug use, suicide, quite a few mental health things that went through that path. I was in the music festival scene for a little while and really enjoyed that and thrived in that condition as well, or that environment as well. But yeah, there was a fair bit of the negative and darker side of things as well. So I went through that part, and part of that process was in that journey. I ended up on the east coast of Australia, the northeast coast of Australia, and did my diving instructor's course.
Oh, cool.
And on the first day of that course, I looked across the room, and there was this girl there, and I thought, she's kind of nice. And the instructor at the time of that course too, he said he's telling a story about his first day on a dive instructor's course many decades before, and he met his wife on the first day of a course. Turns out that girl that was sitting across from me as well turned out to be my wife. So that was a cool little sort of story, and that's where our lives started from there, and we traveled again as well. She was quite a vagabond as well, from Canada over to she went through Southeast Asia and a few places, and then ended up in Australia as well. We traveled around together, and eventually, a few years after that, we got married and had kids, and settled now in the complete opposite end of Australia to where I grew up, and now I'm in the northwest of Australia, in a place called Karratha, and it's Nullama country for all the players at home who like their Aboriginal Indigenous history. And it's the main area is called the Pilbara. So that's sort of where I am at the moment. I wear two hats, or a few different hats, I suppose, as a lot of people do. I'm the executive regional manager of an organisation called Hope Community Services, and I manage the Pilbara and the Kimberley, which is probably, I think it's about like half the size of Europe. It's fairly, maybe not half the size of Europe. My geography is not great, but it's a massive place. And it's for me to visit the two other three areas that I manage, it takes me a week just, and via using a plane. So it's a bit of effort to get around, but it's really fun working with youth at risk, and who are going through the youth justice system, pretty traumatic upbringings, and that's another part of my life that really enables me to see the devastation that can be caused from an upbringing that is not suitable for kids, and just take some of the things that I learned from my day job back home and realize that I'm not doing such a bad job. When those days when you just feel like, what am I doing? Like, I can't say those things, or I can't do those things. But when I reflect on some of those things, it's not as bad as what some other kids have it. And part of my job is to really lead the team that I work with to make sure that they reflect that they can't that they're doing a really good job of helping these kids that have been coming from some real disadvantage. The other hat is of course the Australian Dads Network, and that started about 18 months ago, and it's just been a support group really for dads. There's a lot of different dads around, as we know, and there's a lot of pain and struggle that are going on in families, and it was really a place for dads, dads who feel isolated, dads who aren't really sure how to take a path in life, or how to get past the struggle, or if they're in a rut, how to get out of it, or just dads that just want someone to talk to. As we know, like if you're in that environment where you've got a bunch of mates, and then all of a sudden you have a kid, you don't see those mates as often as you used to. It's a lot harder to just say, "Oh, I'm just going to pop down the pub and have a beer with the boys," because you've got this baby to look after now, and that's your primary need, to look after this baby. And so, being in a regional area of Australia, there was people who come from various areas of the country to work here. There's a resources area, so it was there was a lot of people that fly in and out for work. leave their families at home for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, and then come and live out here. And so there's a lot of dads that were struggling with that, as there was a lot of families back home that were struggling with that too. So yeah, just try to start that sort of that networking and just being able to share stories and connect. Maybe just go down to a cafe and have a coffee or whatever, just to shoot the shit. Nothing serious, nothing. We don't have all the expertise or anything like that to be able to help, but really just a wax-filled ear to be able to listen and just show that we're there for each other. And that's has continued to grow into this thriving Facebook group, which is now over 1,000 members. There's conversations which are really fun, but there's also a lot of conversations with guys that are hurting, and that's where you really see the strength of the tribe sort of come out. Like everyone just comes out of the woodwork to support this guy that's just done a Facebook Live or just put this post out there to say, I'm hurting and I don't know what to do. Within minutes, there's a bunch of guys out there reaching out just to show that, hey, you're not alone. We're here with you. So it's really powerful. The goosebumps now thinking about it. So it's really cool. I love that part of my day, to be able to support these guys and just provide that platform, I suppose. They're all doing the work. I'm in there just sort of with a bunch of admins, just sort of, moderating it and supporting where we can. Yeah. But exactly. it's really those 1,000+ guys that are in there just helping each other out. It's awesome. Yeah. No, absolutely. You created that platform for them to create an even bigger and stronger tribe. I heard, I think it was a couple of interviews back, that the guy was saying, like, it's so weird that we always used to thrive in tribes, right? That's the way we worked. And now all of a sudden we're living in a society where it's just the individual. And just, yeah, I don't know what our ego took over or something, that we don't want to join tribes like yours that are so incredible. What you say, it's so important just to, man, I'm really stuck right now, and then have like 5, 10, maybe even 100 dads all of a sudden just in minutes respond and be like, yo, man, we're here for you, and give positive advice. So all the Australians are definitely lucky to have you set that up. Thomas knows, he's also in part of a couple of tribes that I am in as well, and it's really helping dads out there. So it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, and I'm not really sure why that is. Why we don't have that in a physical sense a lot of the time. There are some really awesome groups out there that are doing stuff face to face as well, and we push those through in the dads group as well. There's the Dads Group Incorporated that are that do a lot of groups, face-to-face groups in Australia. They do really positive meetups. There's Men with a Pram that do, kids that are newborns, their dads will take them out and they'll all meet together in a park and just have a chat. There's some really cool stuff happening out there, but it does, it does sort of make me wonder a lot of the time, how we've diverted from that, and how we can continue to, and I suppose that's what the Australian Dads Network is trying to do as well, is just to give avenues for guys to be able to meet up. So set up little messenger groups for that local area, so that hopefully those guys can link up and just catch up. So the idea would be, we would definitely have this massive tribe of guys across the country to be able to just meet up and talk, and I think that's slowly we'll get there slowly. Exactly. Yeah, well, it's important to set up a solid platform, and that's exactly what you're doing. But what I get from you is it's not just a Facebook platform where everybody can talk to each other. You're also trying to actually connect people. It's like if somebody is from, I don't know, I'm sorry, man, my geography of Australia is horrible, so I just know Sydney. But and if I say that correctly, so if there's somebody there, and then there's a couple of other guys, you try to also make sure that they connect, not just on a internet base, but also on what you said, in the park or whatever it is, right? We definitely encourage that, and whether that's through the Australian Dads Network or through other people that are running their own stuff, other groups. We push that inside the Dads Network private group to be able to get guys, because I don't want to sort of block all other groups from being able to share stuff. If there's something that I see another group doing that is going to really support these guys, and it's usually face to face, then it gets thrown in there as an option for these guys. There's a forum going to happen down in Western Australia, so on the southwest of the country, next month, and nothing to do with us at all. It's just an opportunity for guys to meet up. So that gets put in there, and so there's there's a barbecue being held here tonight in my hometown with a few guys. I got a call from a guy in the group today. He's got a massive veggie garden in the backyard, and he's got all this salads and all this stuff growing. So he's inviting guys around to have a barbecue in the backyard, let the kids have a play around and stuff too. So it's the little things, and there's some big events that get held as well. So yeah, we just try and get guys to get out there, and this is really good. This environment and Facebook and the web and all that is really good because we can do this kind of stuff. But it's amplified when you're face to face. Absolutely,
yeah. I must say, I can only imagine being a Dutch guy, speaking Dutch and English and then some Spanish, of course, as well. But being in Spain, it's been I need my internet drives to really help me out. And I must say, I enjoy more in English than talking in Spanish. So I'm kind of like looking for the English group. But yeah, I can definitely understand that. That sounds really awesome. Doing that kind of stuff with your kids, getting down to a barbecue, having fun, getting to meet other kids. You get the chance to meet other dads and discuss, the struggles that we also day-to-day basis are walking into. Let's see, man, because I got it down a little bit as you mentioned before. So what are some of the challenges that you've seen that guys came with that in the end the group actually was really maybe not easy but simple to help that dad out to step over that challenge and start working towards the next one?
There's quite a few challenges that have come up over the last year and a bit. And everything from child alienation to family budgets to I don't have a job, and to my wife has now left me and taken the kids, and to being suicidal. I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah, and I think it's hard to sort of pick one out, I suppose. One sort of example, but I think right now the one that stands up and is sticking out in my head is one fellow who was administered to hospital for attempting suicide. Reached out to the group and got a bunch of support and just not advice at that stage. It was very early on, so it was more just support and just say you're not alone. You've got so much here, and we're here for you. And it was a lot of guys reaching out, and so what we were able to do was just connect outside of that group as well. So messages, phone calls, and there was no. He's gone. I mean, there's still obviously going to be challenges for some time, but there was no. He's at a point now where he feels comfortable with who he is. Is looking for work, getting out there and looking for work, which was a big struggle, and striving for more. We had a competition that we ran for a couple of months on the Facebook page, which was 5 personal development coaches or personal trainers in the group that did online coaching, and so and dads as well. So either established businesses or they're trying to establish them. So we set up a competition for these guys to be able to promote their business and give something back to the community as well. This guy was fortunately one of the guys that won one of the prizes, which was good because it's going to give him an opportunity to really sort of push on moving forward and changing where he's at and that headspace that he's in. So yeah, I still keep in touch with him as much as I can. Just whenever I see him Messenger. I'll shoot him a message and stuff like that. So there is positive stories that come out of it. There's still a lot of guys that do reach out that are struggling, especially in the family law court, or going through that process, and so we just make sure that they know that they can continue to reach out, that we're there for them in that group when they need, and hopefully they do keep coming back in. So there's a ton of stories, like more are coming through my head now.
Oh, you start talking about it. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But that's one of the tougher things. I don't know how it's in Australia, but maybe you could shed some light on that. Where there's a divorce involved, and it's mother and father go to court, and where mother most of the time wins, if that's correct or not correct, and father all of a sudden doesn't get to see the kids at all, or maybe just one day in 2 weeks, or whatever it is, right? It seems very unfair the way it's still set up. How is Australia developing their laws at the moment?
Oh, it's very much one-sided towards mum. There's a lot of different organisations that are out there trying to change this. I was speaking with one lady yesterday, actually, who she is working, or she has been collating all of the details and evidence over the last 30 years of the family law court in regards to the issues that dads face going through there, and how false accusations don't get reported and don't get followed up by police, and just one sentence that he hit me is enough, even if it's not true, is enough for police don't need to investigate. And I'm still learning. I didn't realize how severe this was until the group started. And I thought there was, for some reason, I thought, like at the very start, there must be some connection with our group and another group that is, there's a lot of guys coming through that are going through this child alienation or having these issues with the family law court. But what I'm learning is that there was no connection. It's just that there's a lot of it happening, and there's a lot of those guys that are reaching out at their wits' end and saying, I need help with this. I just need some guys in my corner because I've lost my family and I don't know who to turn to. So it was just guys just reaching out. So it has turned into something that we are working with the dads to try and figure out, how we can help them the best, but also how we can link up with other organisations that are making that change. And I mean, Australian doesn't want to be anything political or get into that space. But there are other organisations and other groups that do want to be in that space. So we can just link guys up with them if that's an avenue that they want to do, travel down. But it's huge, and there are a ton of guys that are going through that at the moment. And so we linked up with a legal firm over in Parramatta, which is just not far from Sydney. And so that's a referral pathway that we've hooked up there for the guys. So they really support the guys. I think there's about 7 or 8 guys at the moment that are working with them. So it's they're really passionate about supporting dads. It's one of their big drivers. So yeah, we're really excited to be able to do that kind of thing. But yeah, it just baffles me how ridiculous the family law court is. And like I said, I don't really know the full ins and outs of it, and I don't want to get into politics. But it's devastating for dads, and it's devastating for the kids that are being a lot of the time. It's a lot of the time out of spite from mum or the partner for the dad, and the kids don't need that. And it's putting a lot of guys under so much stress that they're looking to end their lives. That's just not on, as far as I'm concerned. No, so absolutely. Yeah.
Now, hopefully we get to a moment And then hopefully that's soon where it's just 50-50, that it's just neutrally looked at both partners, where they at and what is feasible or not. Like we can both agree on the fact that there are mothers that absolutely should not have any responsibility to kids. And there's also some fathers that absolutely should not have any responsibility to kids. However, on the other end, there's, the opposite. Yeah. And there's no looking at that. And you see the kids going to the mother and you're like, how is that possible? This mother is not a mother, right? Problems, drugs, alcohol, but there's no looking at that. But as soon as a dad drinks a glass of beer, it's like, nope, can't happen. Whoop. It's like, wow.
Well, there's a guy just recently I was speaking to who he for I can't remember how long for, but it was for a year or so. They had this. They separated, mum and dad separated, and they had a really nice co-parenting relationship, even though it was unsettled. And she was going through a lot of nasty stuff in her own personal life. He was stable and he was looking after the kids, and they were handing them back and forward. The way a good sort of co-parenting relationship would be, you would seem. And then I've gone through court because it was just set for this court date. Went through, and because he was working full time, the judge said that, or magistrate said that he can't spend enough time with the kids, or doesn't have enough time to spend with the kids. They made that decision for him, even though his ex argued against it, and has massive issues, personal issues as well. So. You can't pick it, and it's devastating.
That's even more insane. Like if actually the mother is saying like, look, I need to work through my shit first. Excuse my language. Just don't give the kids to me. Leave them with my husband or my ex-husband who's doing a great job. Let me work out my stuff, and we'll see from there, right? It's like, really? Then the court's gonna say no. He's working, so it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense.
And that's a pity, man. Yeah, let's hope that gets changed real fast, because dads like that are amazing, right? In my book, they're the heroes. Like I got a client who's a single dad, mother's not involved whatsoever, not in the picture, right? And he's just stepping up to the plate so amazingly that I'm like, dude, man, props. That is so fantastic, right? And yeah, he's now building his own group where he's wanting to support single dads and single moms. Right, cool. Because he says we're all the same in the end, right? We have all the same issues, even though we think like you're a man, you're a woman, but the issues in the end are all the same. Let's talk about another challenge, man, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Take it personal. We are struggling a little bit with our 3-year-old, and I actually think it's just that age.
I'm already feeling where you're going with this.
Dude, man, this guy is freaking whoo. He doesn't sleep his little nap anymore, so he just goes straight out. But the later it gets, the freaking more insane he gets, and just start throwing stuff, yelling. Man, he has a voice. I think if he keeps going, he's going to be an opera singer for sure. So we've tried a lot of stuff. I'm not going to say we've tried everything, right? Because if we tried everything, we got it good. But we've tried a lot of stuff to see what works. And I'm talking opposites, right? I'm talking about, I'm going to be honest here, I'm talking about giving hugs and kisses when he acts out, to just spank him on the ass when he's really nuts, right? When he bites his brother and you just see his teeth in the arm, right? Stuff like that. And none of it has so far reached like, okay, yes, this is something that we can continue to work on to progress from this challenge and go to the next one, right? And I'm sure you've heard this. I'm sure there's more dads that have been like, dude, what do I do with this? So share a little bit, man. What's been some of the solutions or strategies that have been shared amongst dads that have worked?
Well, yeah, I had a sense that this question was going to head this way, and I mean, to be completely honest, I don't know. I've got a 3 and a 4-year-old right now, and my wife and I just really struggled. The door's closed now to this room and the other room because they're having a nap now. and it's 2:30 in the afternoon here.
Yeah.
It was a massive struggle to get them to have a nap. It was, and it's equally as challenging in the evenings as well. We don't have naps usually. It's just that one's starting to get that little bit of a cold. So he's starting to get fatigued and just not be very happy. And the other one is tired. You can tell he's tired because he's had a few rough nights. But we want to take them out. There's a fair in town. We want to take them to that this afternoon. And the friends have invited us around for dinner. So we wanted to do that. So we knew it was going to be a bit of a late night. So let's have a nap. And plus I'm doing this, so it's handy to have some quiet time to do that. But yeah, it's a massive struggle. There's loads of things that I've tried that have come from the group. Similar stuff to what you've just said. Spending, trying to get more time leading up to the actual act of going to sleep. Those routine, trying to establish routines, but a week or two into it, nothing's changed or it's gotten worse. And so, I think that, I don't know, it's massive. 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds finding it just massive work. And the only thing that I can really try and I suppose do myself is just get more patient. That's hard. That's challenging. I can't. And I think that. You've probably heard it all before. I thought I was patient before. I was really patient, and then I had kids. Now, the last 4 years has been massive wake up call for me, and it's constantly, testing me, and it's all feedback to me, to what who I am, and what am I able to deal with. And I go through and we go through the same process as yourself, from the hugs to the a bit of a smack on the bum if things get really, really bad. I hate going to that stage, and it's just not the person. I said it to Alison, my wife, not long ago, is that toddlers have taken me to a place that I didn't ever want to be as a parent. But it's that pressure that gets put on you, and I think that's where it comes. Continue to work on myself from within to help them externally. I think it's challenge. I can't. I don't have any real answers to that.
This is a trick. This is a secret. No, I don't think there is actually a secret. I think it's actually like what I've understood, 3, 4 is that stage. And then when they turn, 14, 15, when they get into the teen stage area where they just, they act out. They have to get to know themselves, I guess, right? But it's a discipline area where we're trying to see. So one of the things, of course, that we mentioned by other dads is like, you make sure that you're consistent, both your wife and you, because that's also, it's not just you, it's also your wife. If you both do different things, then they know that they're going to take advantage of that. And they get very, very intelligent. Sometimes he does stuff and I'm like, dude, how do you come up with that stuff? Yeah. Right? But he's so naughty, and he's like, he took a shit yesterday in the poof. You know what a poof is? It's like, I don't know if that's an English word. It's in our house, it's green. You just can sit in it and just go flop, you disappear.
Yeah, right. Cool. Yeah.
He took a shit in it. It's like, dude, what are you doing? He just smiles. He's like, can you clean my ass? I'm like, what? My wife was really cool about it. She's like, you're going to clean this. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty smart, actually, because I would just clean it. And he's like, oh, I'm so tired now. I can't deal with this right now. Right? One of the things that I do that really helps when they go whoop, over the top, and I try to do that when they're calm, is do breathing exercises with them. So in the moment that they actually go, right, I go, oh, wait. I have no idea what you can't understand what they're saying. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's take a couple of deep breaths, and now let's discuss what's going on. And that kind of seems to help. And the hugs, I must say, because he knows now that I like hugs and I find them important. So he's smart. That's what I'm saying. They're so intelligent. And he comes at me already. So he does something bad. He comes at me already. Hug, hug. I'm like, you naughty, smart little man. Look, man, Chris just joined us.
Hey, Chris.
And that's really cool. What's going on, Chris? Thanks for joining us. We got.
Yeah, I think there was just to quickly touch on that too. I think is when kids, especially toddlers, escalate so far, they've completely lost all ability to think about anything. And so I think that's something that I would encourage as well. And that's what I like to do is just give the boys a hug. But the breathing techniques, we use those with our 3-year-old. Our 4-year-old's not really that interested at nighttime. To sort of get some oxygen through to have a bit of a breathe just before bed. But the hugs and the breathing techniques when they've escalated so high are really good just to them to be able to slowly deregulate themselves and just bring it all down and then have that conversation afterwards. It's really, really cool. Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah.
Because that was the biggest mistake I was making in the beginning. Trying to argue and reason with them when they're in that state is like, that's like talking to a wall. It's not going to do anything either. But I didn't, you're in that state yourself. You don't realize it's like, so.
Yeah. And that goes all the way up to pre-teens as well, and probably teens as well. But up to pre-teens as well, it's the same thing that once they hit that mark, you've just got to sort of just chill the room.
Exactly. Yeah. Man, I don't know, Chris. You know him apparently, but this is sharp, man. Connection before correction. I love that. Thanks for sharing, Chris. That's really good. I got to remember that one. And lovely kids, by the way. I can see them all smiling. That's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. Really appreciate that.
Chris is a wise man.
Well, I've noticed that just now by the short 3 words, and it made an impact. Awesome, man. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, we got a couple more minutes more. For me, this is also an important one and one that we've struggled with. You got, you have 2 kids, you got your job, you're doing your straight in dad's network. And of course, most importantly, you have a wife, all right? So what do you do to make sure that you stay connected with her and stay aligned? I think that's connection now is going pretty well, but it's the aligned part, right? Where 2 different people got to have okay, this is what we're doing in regards to raising our kids. This is what we do in regards to trying to level up our lives, right? How do you get that done?
Again, with toddlers, it's a challenge. So it's for us, we are we're still in that remote town. So my wife's from Canada, so all her family and friends are over there. I'm from the southeast of Australia, so a lot of my mates and family are over there. So it really is just, we've got friends here, but day to day, it really comes down to just us together, and we spend a lot of that time connecting once the boys go to bed. So there tends to be those few hours once the boys go to bed, which combines us just chilling out, just maybe have a cup of tea and just relax. Alison might not say that I think I'm a pretty good listener. Sometimes I don't listen 100%, but I think a lot of us are like that. But we connect really well through conversation, and because we've got that. We're both backpackers from our past lives, so we've got some dreams that are together for us. So we really want to take before the boys go to high school, we really want to take them out of school and just go traveling in a caravan around the country for as long as we can. So a lot of our conversations are around how can we get to that point. So it's a mutual conversation that we can both provide input, and it's exciting for us to have those conversations. So, and especially I think for when you do have a bit of a shitty day, whether that be work or with the kids, and that struggle to put them to bed, and you do get them into bed, and then it's if you dwell on that, or it's good to have a bit of a debrief, and we do that as well. But if you dwell on that for too long and then go straight to bed, then it's not going to be a restful sleep. So we do a bit of a debrief, and then we talk about what's exciting, and those plans for the future that we're really excited about, and then that makes the evening a bit more relaxed and enjoyable. So that's connecting on those same desires for our life is what it brings us closer together, and reaffirms what we're all about, which is just have fun, travel, and enjoy ourselves.
Exactly. I love that. That makes real sense. But now you have a mutual vision of something that you want to do, right? And then it's just like you're both excited about it. So you debrief, you get the clutter out, and then you start talking about the fun stuff, and then you go to bed like this, big smile on your face. You're like, oh yeah, that's awesome. You lay your head down, you think about it even more. You got to really good night rest, and you can, tackle that the morning challenges, right, with the kids.
Yeah. And then it sort of just makes it clear. You wake up in the morning, you've got your job to do, which is leading up to that goal that we talked about last night. So it makes the jobs that we do aren't extremely challenging physically anyway. Mentally they can be sometimes, but it's good to have that perspective on why you're going to work, and that's really important, I think, to be able to not just get through a day, but just do your best, because you have that reason for going there every day. And I was speaking with a mate today, Peter Border, who he said, he's a personal coach, and he says that he charges what he does because he values his time away from his family enough that he he needs to make it worthwhile, because his main priority is his family. And if he's not going to be there with him, he needs to make it worthwhile. So that's the way I sort of see it too. Unfortunately, I can't pick my my wage at this point, but that's or my hourly rate. But that's the way that I treat it as well. So I make sure that every time I'm away from family for work, I'm making the most out of it, so that it's getting us to the point where we want to be.
Exactly. That's amazing, man. Because you probably heard it as well. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was saying it in one of those motivational videos that like 70% of people that go into work just hate their job, right? They're miserable. However, now you have like a job, and hopefully you like your job, but you have a job and you use it as a vehicle. You're like, okay, it's very clear for me. This is my vehicle to get me to that amazing vision that my wife and I are focusing on and wanting to get turn into reality. That makes work a lot more fun, right? And a lot easier to do to get through it. Now, I like that. I like that in a lot of areas. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. And
you're welcome.
And Chris, you gotta go on the show too. Shared family vision is powerful.
You should get Chris on this show. 100%.
Right? I think I should. Man, this is amazing. Thanks, Chris, for sharing this. So yeah, man, I got something to work on. So we're getting to the end of this show, right? I'm going to share real quick, but so many people left responses, so I got to try and look real quick for this, right? So for everybody that's been watching this either now or a replay, and if you are watching this on the replays, put in #replay real quick. This is the website of Australian Dads Network. This is only, or the group is only for Australian dads, right? There's no vision for you saying, okay, I'm going to expand this in the future. It's just dads that are in Australia.
At this stage, that's where we're staying. I've had conversations with a lot of guys in the group about, how they found out about it or why they came to this group. And a lot of guys found that they're involved in other groups that are international groups, and they just wanted and I've been a part of those groups. Chris and I have been in a part of a group, the Dad's Edge. We were part of that for a long time. I'm sure Chris is part of that still, and that was extremely important part of my life. And there's a lot of guys that are there as well, and there's tons of good, valuable groups that are around there that are worldwide groups. And a lot of guys said, come in and said that they just wanted something with a bit of an Australian flavour. And to be able to, and that's the important part is to be able to connect with guys face to face. So at this stage, we're. I'm not looking to increase my workload any more than what it is at the moment with the group, and we've got a few things in the background, like so we've got a podcast as well, the Australian Dads Network podcast. So that, as you know, takes up some time. And so really just the Australian flavour, I suppose, is what a lot of guys are after. It's not to say that there's guys from overseas that can't join if they want that flavour as well. But the local connections is really important.
Exactly. Yep, I can understand that. Great, man. What are other ways to get in contact with you if guys are out there, listening to you and they're like, man, I got this very urgent question. I think Liam has like a perfect answer for me. How can they get connected with you?
On Facebook is probably the best. So you can friend me on Facebook if you like my face and the voice, then do that. Otherwise, connect with me on email. If you want to shoot us an email, if you think there's something that any value you can provide to the Australian Dads Network, then feel free to reach out. It's liam@australiandadsnetwork.com.au, which is nice and easy. Facebook is where I'm at most of the time. I dabble in Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn, but Facebook is it's the easiest for me at the moment.
Yeah, all dads are on Facebook.
Yeah, I know. It's almost subconscious now how easy how I utilize Facebook. So, Twitter and Instagram and all the other ones. I've got Australian Dads Network has accounts on those, but if you're looking for up to date information on those, it's not as updated as often. Same as the website is still here and there when I can get the opportunity to sit down and do some stuff on it. So, Facebook.
Excellent. All right, man. Well, for the people that are listening or watching this listening on the podcast or watching this on YouTube, then this will not be live, this will be a replay, and all those links that Liam just mentioned will be in the description section for you to enjoy, click on, and connect with him. Again, Liam, thank you so much for taking the time for being on the show. Man, I enjoyed it. I learned tons again. So very appreciative. And everybody else for being, sorry, we went a little over 45 minutes on the show. Thank you, Chris, Thomas, Christopher. Thanks, guys, for sharing your insights as well. I love that. That's what a tribe is about, right? We all share our views. So thank you, and we will see each other very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Are you still meeting up with your friends now that you're a father? Kids making you stress out. You got no time for yourself to work out, read, or relax. Can you still remember the time you were hanging out with your friends, feeling energetic, happy, and confident? Spending time together and talking about your life and your crazy dreams. You're feeling alone now, don't you? No one to share your challenges with, and you're just running around from one storm into the next. Well, it's time to change this now. Join me and the Brotherhood of Fearless Fathers to speak on a weekly basis with like-minded dads to crush your challenges, face your fears with determination, be held accountable, and regain control of your life. If you want to become the hero your family needs you to be, then go to becomeafearlessfather.com/brotherhood. Looking forward to seeing you on one of our next calls.